I'm John Wilson. Welcome to Owned and Operated. Twice a week, we talk about home service businesses. And if you're a home service entrepreneur, then this is going to be the show for you. We talk about our own business in residential plumbing, HVAC, and electric. And we also talk about business models that we just find interesting. Let's get into it. If you like what we talk about on our social media, on Twitter, on this podcast, then you should be signed up for our newsletter. Go to ownedandoperated.com, where every Friday we break down our business, we break down insights, things we're learning, things we're working on, and it's good stuff. Check it out, ownedandoperated.com.
Hey, today on Owned and Operated, we're doing a flashback episode. So we had Johnny SqueegeeGod on a couple years ago at this point, back in 2021. But the episode was good and it was relevant because now we're talking about a lot of different services, and we just had Aaron Harper on to talk about power washing, and this felt like a great follow-up. So enjoy the flashback. It's a great episode, and Johnny was a great guest.
Welcome, Johnny.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this will be fun. This will be a good time. Johnny, how about you give us a little bit of an intro into what you do here?
Sure. So I clean windows for a living, mostly residential. So I own and operate Orange Window Cleaning. We're based in the city of Orange in Orange County, California. Beautiful area. Started this business when I was 19. That was 4 years ago, 23 now. Started with my partner, Sergio, with $150. We started with a bucket, a squeegee, and my RAV4. And we've since grown that to 3 trucks, on pace to do about $700K this year. We'll see how it goes depending on how bad the rainy season is. But that's where we're at right now.
That is pretty cool. How'd you and Sergio meet?
So me and Sergio go way back. Actually, we had every single class together in 7th grade, and we were both the shortest guys in the class and had the same Hurley sweater from Costco. So it was just
that's
like,
what friendship's
boom.
made of, man.
Instant connection there.
Yeah.
So we've been best friends ever since 7th grade. So graduating high school, we went our separate ways to different colleges, and then we kind of reconvened late freshman year, and that's when we decided he couldn't get a job. He got interviewed at McDonald's. McDonald's wouldn't even hire him, and that's not a joke. Like, McDonald's would not hire him.
I feel like that's a cool badass story. You guys should fully pivot to commercial and then just clean McDonald's windows.
We bid some. We've actually bid some. I don't think we've got it.
Send them that invoice once a week and be like, I got turned down by a job for you guys. You could pay this $1,000 invoice.
Yeah, that'd be a great revenge story, huh?
Yeah, it'd be pretty vindictive. That's nice. All right. So you guys have been running together for a while. And you guys launched 4 years ago.
June 17th, 2017.
That's awesome. For some reason, I thought you guys were only a year or two into this. So 4 years is a pretty good.
Yeah, we've been grinding at it, but the first 2 years was just, we weren't taking it seriously. It was just a summer thing. We would literally only work in the summer and then go to school and not do it at all. Just focus on school. And it's just like a beer money type of thing. And we weren't even Orange Window Cleaning at the time. We were J&S Window Cleaning. So Johnny and Sergio Window Cleaning. And we had just a $5 Fiverr logo and running out of my RAV4, no wrapped trucks. No, we didn't even have like the right equipment to do 2-story windows. Like, we were hanging out at windows, squeegeeing and stuff, like windows looking like crap. Wasn't taking it serious at all.
When did you start taking it seriously? And maybe why?
So that 2019, we both took internships because we weren't sure what we wanted to do. Sergio civil engineering degree. I'm business. He stayed in Orange County for his summer internship. I took one out in Dallas. It was inside outside sales. Like, it was like a hybrid internship for an industrial distribution company. And so I flew out to Dallas, lasted 2.5 weeks, or maybe it was 3, before I quit. And I was like, I'll never work a job again. I drove back. I called Sergio, like, hey, I'm going to keep Orange Window Cleaning going. And then he probably lasted another 2 weeks after that before he quit and joined me. And we were all in, we're making this work. And that's when we started taking it serious. And we got our first truck. That summer, and our first employee.
That is cool. That's funny. You guys were both doing internships. Were you in college and did you end up finishing, or did you just dive straight into the business?
So Sergio just graduated in May. I'm in my last semester of college right now.
Oh, so you're doing this as a full-time college student?
Yeah, it was my last semester. I failed classes during COVID, Zoom. And that's coincidentally when the business also started to take off. It was a little tough to manage, but hey, no excuses.
Yeah.
I don't even credit it. They got the cojones to do what I backed out of. That's the exact situation I was in. So you either sell it or do something, and you guys stuck it out and actually made it through it. So
that's awesome.
Brandon's a total
It's-
wimp, is what I'm
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, it helps. It helps having a partner, especially because he's graduated. He can just do full time orange window cleaning, and that takes a lot of load off of me. You also find a way to get shit done faster though in school. I feel like when you're running a business, school's easy mode. I can get done a whole semester long project in like a day, so it's not a big deal.
Okay, I think I want to dive into this section of your life a lot because I just think it's interesting. So I don't know if you're familiar with Brandon's backstory, but he launched a landscaping company in high school, ran it into college, and then sold it when he was a junior or sophomore. And then he ran the Acquirees company for a while. And then when I was 23 or 24, something like that, I was going to school full time at night. And it was the same thing. Like I was running the company at that point, 8 employees, and you had a live test subject every day. It was really cool. Like you would go to class, you'd learn a bunch of stuff, and then like the next morning you got to practice. Yeah. Have you found the same thing? Like, have you been able to just take direct lessons from school and be like, yes, we should be doing this?
Not really. School, I go to what's called, in California, you have the research-based institution. So you have the UC system, and then you have the Cal State system, which is the public, like cheap school, really low cost tuition. So you don't get the same quality almost of professors and types of curriculum and resources. I found that the curriculum I'm learning, it's not applicable. It's just a funnel for corporate companies, basically. So corporate companies come there and recruit when kids are seniors and they go get jobs. So it's really not meant for someone on our path, but it's just, I stuck it out for so long. I'm going to finish it. I don't want to quit.
Yeah.
I will say the biggest thing that taught me a lot was EO. So I almost treat that as like my MBA, Entrepreneurs Organization. And I'll give some background for anybody who doesn't know what that is. It's basically a huge organization, like master peer group, I would say. There's 17,000 members and you have to own a business, 50% or more of a business that generates over $1 million of revenue. They have accelerator for companies between 250,000 and 199,000. We ended up winning the speech competition, Sergio and they gave us a free accelerator membership after that summer of 2019. And so we went through the accelerator for the first year for free. And then once our renewal came up, we were actually in the threshold and had enough money to renew it. And we just learned so much. They break everything down into 4 categories: cash, strategy, execution, and people. And it just really opened my eyes to scaling a company, turning a startup into a scale up. And if you implement those 4 things, you can really scale any business. So that taught me a shitload about business.
Yeah. Can we dive? I've never dove far into this specifically. Is EO different than EOS?
So EOS it's like scaling up, right? So the guy who created scaling up, there's a student who left scaling up and dumbed it down into EOS, but those are just 2 operating systems, whereas EO teaches both in a way, but it's more so just like a peer group to discuss like, hey, I'm having this problem, John. I don't know how to hire. And then you would say, okay, this is what worked for me. I'm not saying you should do that, but that's what worked for me, type of thing. So it's not necessarily an operating system.
Okay. So it's not really based off of those, but it takes a little bit of both. And
Right.
It's the peer group. And I can get behind that. That's cool. What were the 4 things again? It was cash, strategy,
People, and execution.
That's cool. You want to dive into each one a little bit? I'm curious, like what you took away from them.
Yeah. So it's cool because what EO does is they have learning days every quarter, and each learning day is about one of those 4 different ones. So cash, they teach you a lot of profit first. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. Profit first is just basically an accounting system that says, hey, take your profit first and divide up your pie. Treat your bank accounts like a pie. You have 1 pie for taxes, 1 pie for operating expenses, 1 for taxes, etc. I don't want to get too deep into it because there's a whole book on it. You can read it.
Yeah. The author was Michael something or other.
Michael,
Yeah.
something like that.
But the book's called Profit First. It is good for the listener.
Yeah. So they teach you a lot of that. That's cool. People, they really talk about like core values and living your core values and using your core values to make decisions and basically decide who you're going to hire, who you're going to work with, who you're going to sell to, things like that, and culture. And then you've got execution, which is not too much to talk about there. It's just more systems to help you make decisions and then put things into place. And then strategy, they have this whole like 1-pager you do where you fill out your quarterly priorities and you do quarterly themes. So for example, like our January through March quarterly theme was well-oiled machine. And we wanted to basically get all our systems perfected and all our technicians flowing smoothly with like our inventory management. And so we didn't have to deal with callbacks because January through March, you've got your really slow season in window cleaning and then gearing up into summer and spring is when it gets really busy. So we wanted to make sure the business ran like oiled machine. And then when you're shoving that down your employees' throats, hey, oiled machine, they can get behind it and, align with your goals. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. We're a part of a couple of these. Is the average business in this group around your size? Is there a really big spread?
Yeah, I would say so. I think the average accelerator is maybe 600K accelerator company, but I think our group's got like this 80% graduation rate.
So they graduate to $1 million? Is that
right?
Oh, that's cool. Man, that's sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I think the biggest thing is surrounding yourself with people who are driven like you are and are on the same mission. That really fires me up.
So do you guys talk or have a Facebook group or something like that outside of just the quarterlies?
So we do accountability groups. So you're in, I want to say there's maybe like 20 to 25 people in our group, and it's split up into groups of 3 to 4. And then you have a coach who is an EO member. You meet every month and you basically say, hey, like, these are my wins for the past month. This is what I'm going through. And everybody kind of experience shares. And then the coach basically is like, hey, this is what I've done. Like I said before, I'm never going to tell you what you should do, which is basically, hey, this is my experience. Do what you want with that.
That is really cool. I'm just glad for you that you got into that as early as you did. Our business started taking off when we joined something similar. It's industry specific. And then I think we're about to join Vistage, which is like a CEO thing for me.
Yeah, Vistage is super similar. We've had people come from Vistage EO and same thing, leave EO to go to Vistage. What's the industry specific one, if you don't let me ask?
Ours is called SGI, but there's one called Nexstar as well, and Quality Service Roundtable. I think those are the big three, but they cover plumbing, HVAC, and electric.
There's also Breakthrough Academy. I don't know if you heard of that one. I was at the window cleaning convention in Atlanta a few weeks ago. And there's Breakthrough Academy there. They're all home service, same thing.
So tell us more about it. Now I'm just curious.
So basically, like I just explained EO, but specifically for home service, and they're really focused on like retreats. So they do a few retreats a year, and I think it's like $5 or $6 grand a year. But you go into the mountains with a bunch of other HVAC plumbers, or I think there's some painters in there, and you just have masterminds and talks and stuff like that.
I think that would be fun. That'd be a fun next iteration of our company. Like what comes next, and like selling some type of, even just a retreat. We almost did one this fall, but then we started buying all these companies. But it would be cool to have like a thing, bring 30 or 40 guys out to Akron. They can walk through our 5 companies. They can help us do better and give us authentic feedback, but then they can usually see how larger companies are run. And I think it'd be sweet and just mastermind.
I think you make a killing doing that, especially at your size. There's levels to it. So you're at like level 5. You can get all those level 1, 2, 3, 4 dudes in there.
Come on out, guys.
Your stuff.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like things like that because for Sergio and I, we grew up really broke and none of our family's entrepreneurs. I had no idea you could even start a business when I graduated high school. I just found out because I was pissed off at a manager and I was like, how do I make money on my own basically? And then Google, just start a business. I thought you needed a degree. I thought you needed a 4-year degree to start a business. I was so unaware of the possibilities that there are. So that's why I love EO, because it taught me a lot of things that I wouldn't normally have access to because I don't have that resource available to me because no entrepreneurs in the family.
Yeah, I get that. So you guys have been going for 4 years. 2 years ago, you started taking it seriously. What'd the first year look like? How'd you guys handle that? Like, we're going to do this.
The first year was a lot of, we didn't even do residential. I don't know if I mentioned, but we're like 90% residential right now. And we would just pitch storefronts all day. Me and Sergio just going out on the street and pitching little donut shops, liquor stores.
So you started commercial.
So in window cleaning, we don't label storefronts as commercial. We just call them storefronts.
Oh, got it.
Because commercial buildings, you can bust them out for $1,000, $2,000. You're never going to get that for a storefront. You could charge $20 to $40 max for a little storefront. But the good thing about it is you can build routes. And so you get some nice recurring revenue there. But yeah, we were just pitching storefronts all day, like donut shops, $5 here, $10 there. Did dry cleaner for like $12. Took us an hour and a half. The first customer we got was a donut shop, and they decided that our work was good, but not good enough to pay us in cash. So they paid us in a box of donuts. 2 PM though. So they were all old. They're trying to get rid of them at that point.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
But yeah, that's all it was the first year, dude, is just really building a callus of just getting rejected And then we were like, okay, if we want to make some money, let's go knock some doors in residential. Started doing that a little bit. Saw a little bit of success, but our sales pitch was just terrible. We did not know how to sell.
What was it? Like, what was the sales pitch?
So for the storefronts, we would come in and I would say, hey, I'm Johnny. This is my partner, Sergio. We're just in the area cleaning windows. Do you want a quote? And then if they said yes, then I would look and be like, I don't know, $10. How's that sound? And they would either say yes or no. But if they said no, my go-to line that I thought was just killer for some reason was, are you sure? You sure you don't want your windows cleaned? And they just tell me, yeah, I'm sure. And then I would be silent. I didn't know what to say. So then we'd get kicked out.
What's the new sales pitch?
We don't do storefronts anymore. We don't do door to door.
Okay, now I'm diving into like the sales funnel. But I want my windows cleaned.
That's fine. You can do that.
What happens next?
So you can do one of two things. The preferred method is go to our website. We're the only company in the county right now doing completely online booking. You don't even have to talk to us. So you can go in, you can say, okay, I have either my house is 1,000 square feet or I have 10 windows, whatever you want to do. Let's say you have 10 windows. That's below our minimum. So you'd pump in 10 windows. We would give you a price that displays 3 options. You have basic, deluxe, and premium. The reason for that is studies show when you have 3 options, they're always going to pick the middle. So the middle is inside and out, track screens and sills. When I say inside and out, that's inside and out cleaning on the glass. And so, okay, $250 inside and out on all my windows, not bad. You'd click book, and then you would see the schedule and the different crews that we have available for that schedule. So let's say you see Jacob, Victor, and Jacob. We have another Jacob. And you say, okay, I want Victor. Boom. You'd book Victor for Monday, and then shows all the different time slots. You have 3 different time slots available. You say, I want between 8 and 10 arrival window. Boom. You'd click that. That gets pinged into our CRM and then notifies our technicians, hey, I have a job for Monday. Boom, you're ready to go. And you get a confirmation text 3 days before, and then that job will get completed. You'll get an on my way text when the technician's on its way. He'll take payment. He'll say, hey, if you like the job, could you leave a review? Click finish on our CRM. They get the invoice and receipt. We get the payment, and then they get a series of follow-ups with different review links. And then they're also imported to our drip system where we follow up with them every 3 months to remind them, hey, it's been 3 months since your last service. That makes sense? I feel like I was rambling a lot.
Oh, that all made sense to me. I'm just thinking through. It's more robust than I thought it would be.
Like I said, we're the only company doing stuff like that.
That's pretty interesting. Okay, so the online booking, is that through like Jobber?
No, we use a company called Responsibid. It's like a window cleaning specific Responsibid.
Responsibid.
Yeah, so we use Responsibid, and it's integrated with a couple other softwares. Our CRM is House Call, so we don't use Jobber. We use House Call Pro. Other than that's integrated with review management software called Nice Job. So they're all ported together.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know House Call Pro. That one's owned by Home Advisor, right?
I don't think they've sold.
I'm not sure.
Maybe they did, but I'm not aware.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think my point was they do a good job with integrating. I have a buddy that uses them with like a 4-person company. And yeah, it does like really good stuff for them.
Yeah.
I think House Call Pro, Jobber, like those are good.
Yeah, do you guys use ServiceSight, I assume?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're a little too large to use those other platforms just because of the reporting functionality normally. But
that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's pretty robust. So you can book online completely. You get a price before you come out. So your guys just at that point, is there a chance for them to upsell when they're out?
There is. We do most of our upsells through our receptionist or admin, because when we have a packed schedule, we have 3 appointments. Say we have 3 appointments in a day, and the customer wants to add on a house wash when we're there. It's a little difficult to fit that in because now we're going to be late for that next job. Because the house wash is going to take an extra couple hours.
Yeah.
So we have the technician do all the upselling over the phone if they call. If they book online, that's maybe something we should look at, actually. But no really upsell functionality in the complete online booking.
Yeah. How far ahead do people book?
We've been booked as far as 6 weeks.
Oh, really? So maybe that would be another drip campaign where like the moment they book, like 24 hours later, you get if you want to add a house wash.
That's not a bad idea to write that down.
I'm digging this though. Okay. So what is average ticket in this industry?
Depends who you ask. If you ask a Bucket Bob, probably $250.
Bucket Bob.
Yeah.
That's cool. Our version of that is chucking a truck for
chucking a truck. Nice.
Bucket Bob.
Yeah. So we call them Bucket Bobs. Our average ticket is $650.
Yeah.
And that's across a mix of services. So we do window cleaning and house washing. So pressure washing the house, getting all the dirt and stuff off the siding. So yeah, we're at $650.
Yeah. And 2 or 3 calls a day?
So each truck can produce with one guy max of $1,000, about $100 an hour. A 2-man crew can produce about $150 an hour. So they can produce about $1,250 a day.
Do you have any kind of recurring services or like we call memberships, but anything like that for repeat customers?
We call it maintenance plans. But what we do is we just add everybody onto the maintenance plan. And like I said, we have the receptionist calling them every 3 months saying, hey, it's been 3 months. You want to get on the schedule? Typically, people will always do every 6 months. Maybe 10% of our customers are on a quarterly, but we don't have any locked in contract with them. It's so dependent on the weather. You just never know. Like you don't want to book something 3 months out if maybe it's going to rain. And we don't have to worry about that too much in California, but you just never know.
You did mention something about that before we started the rainy season. How does that kind of play into all this?
Yeah. So I'm a little blessed living in California where we don't deal with it too much, but still January through March, mostly January and February, but January through March, we see about 1/4 of our actual revenue. So when we're doing our projections and stuff at the beginning of the year, we always just account for a 9-month revenue goal.
Forgive my lack of geography of California, but do the wildfires and all that stuff affect you guys, or does that make things more busy for you?
Yeah, if there are wildfires, like for example, last year, big fire right behind a city that we do a lot of work in, and you have all that ash falling all over the house and stuff. And we were just super slammed with work, getting all that, washing all that ash off the houses and cleaning the ash off the windows. It's good for us. I mean, I don't wish any wildfires. Don't get me wrong. Every time it does happen, we always see an uptick in work.
What happens with your staff during the down season?
That's something we've struggled with every year. We always lose at least a few employees, but we've done unemployment, like partial unemployment, and then we give priority work to guys who've been with us the longest. It's just so tough. It just feels like there's nothing we can do because, hey, we've got 1,500 customers in our system and you can call all of them, but they're going to say, oh, I'll wait till April, wait till May.
I'm impressed. I think that there was a lot more here. It's just pretty robust. Like, this is cool. This is really cool. So what's the big barrier to growth then, aside from the seasonality? Because that one I can totally get behind. You lose a bunch of staff every year. But what else?
For us, it's been trucks. The trucks are our business units. We know if we have one truck out there, it's going to make us $20K for the month. We have two, it's going to make us 40, so on and so forth. Each truck can produce 20. But when we're both trying to grow at 21, 22, 23 years old, and the bank's asking for 5 years established credit with them to finance these trucks and get better rates, it's tough to put all that cash down to start buying trucks. All that equipment starts to add up and it really messes up our cash flow.
So what does it take to bring on one truck now?
We just added our third truck in, I want to say July. Yeah, July, because we had our record month in August. July, we put down like $3,000 for the truck at a high interest rate. I can't remember what it was, but $3,000. And then you're looking at another, you got to buy pressure washer, water fed poles. Each water fed pole is $1,000. Their tank rental, that's another $150 a month. You've got all your
rental?
squeegees, belts. Tank is what connects to a water fed pole. It's a pure water system. It's just a deionized water system to take all the minerals out of the water and make it completely pure. So when you spray the water on the window, it'll dry completely spot free. And then you've got ladders. Just trying to think of everything that goes on the truck right now. Comes out to about $10K additionally. So you want to get a truck fully set up with everything, you're looking at close to $15K.
And then the high interest rate part is the remainder of the note on that vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Furcon was dealing with some similar stuff in that episode.
Yeah,
he was
me
only
and
4
Furcon
years
talked about it briefly on a Spaces call, actually. He's like, oh, I'm in the same boat, man. I think
Yeah.
will finance me.
We had a similar issue. We were fortunate because we were able to become corporatized basically, but we launched a new business unit last year that had obviously no established credit history. And we had an issue all the way up until a month ago getting stuff for it. And the only way we got stuff for it is because we got them to underwrite the entire portfolio. But that's a problem up and down. Someone out there should solve that for home service companies trying to start up, because I think that is a real pain.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's $1 billion idea.
Yeah. Okay. So you have 3 trucks and you think trucks are the biggest barrier right now. So you currently have enough work that you could put another crew or 2.
We could be $1 million company right now if we could figure that out.
And that's 4 trucks.
Because our marketing and our system, our engine is just so dialed in, we can generate as much work as we want to.
Dive a little bit further into that. What's the marketing that goes into this?
So this is my favorite part. You're not going to expect this, but we built a company completely on the back of Yelp. So
I really didn't.
So
You're right.
yeah, you guys might be thinking what? Yelp only works in California. It's so location dependent, but for home service, businesses in California make up a majority of Yelp's revenue. So if you look at Yelp, it's a public company, they're doing over $1 billion a year. And most of that is from home service advertising. I don't know why it only works in Yelp, but unaware to us, we were just translating our reputation onto Yelp every time we got done with the job. So we're just saying, hey, can you leave us a review on Yelp? Yelp is just what we picked. And we became the top. We're like number one. You search up window cleaning in Orange County, we're going to show up number one or number two every single time. And then we started pumping ad dollars. And so we started messing around with the keywords and optimizing our Yelp page on the ad platform. And we got it so down where it's like, okay, now I know if I put $2,000 into Yelp advertising for the month, it's going to generate us $40,000 worth of new customers. So we're getting 20x ROI on Yelp.
Is that currently the only advertising platform?
That's the only advertising we do.
Wonder how that, like, can you take the same thing over to Home Advisor, Angie's List, these other lead platforms?
We've tried them. It just doesn't work because you can really convey your brand on Yelp and set up your ad a certain way to where, like Yelp is bottom of the funnel advertising, meaning they're going to Yelp to buy. So if you can show up there one or two and your company looks really professional, they know they're not going to get a cheap price. They're expecting a good price, not a good price, but a higher price. And so with Angie's List, it's really tough to build your reputation, and Home Advisor, it's really tough. So you get a lot of bargain hunters. And that's a lot of people's misconception with Yelp is they think a lot of bargain hunters go to Yelp. That's not the case because our average ticket is consistently higher from Yelp than it is any other lead source, except for referral. You can't really beat referral.
Yeah, that's cool. I think you said this right when you went into it. Yelp only works in California, and that must be the case because I don't think Yelp here is even a thing at all for home services.
Yeah, I've never heard of Yelp working anywhere in the Midwest or
it's like
has some results
maybe?
in New York. Yeah, restaurants maybe, but Arizona has some success too. The closer you are to the West Coast, the better, but California just dominates.
That's kind of sweet.
And that's the only one too that kind of goes across because like the Home Advisor and all that still is the same for pretty much everywhere. It's bargaining because you're getting inundated as soon as you ask for something. It's everybody on there is going out for quotes, so you're just a race to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good point about Yelp. That would be interesting if it's actually utilized more here, what that would look like for home services. But I've only ever seen it used for restaurants.
It might be a good test to maybe get a couple reviews on there, spend $300-400 on advertising and see if it works. Maybe you could capture all the leads that are coming there because nobody's playing there.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yelp is always one of the funny ones. I think, so we have like 60 or 70 reviews on Yelp, but only 5 of them show up because we don't advertise. So Yelp, they do play a bit dirty.
Yeah.
They only put like a few of the 2 stars, and then anything that was a 5-star, the message underneath it was like, this is not a reliable review or something.
Yeah. What we found is the better the reviewer, the more likely it is to stay. So like you'll see people review who have Yelp Elite, like 2021 or whatever, that little tag. Those reviews will always stay. But when you have someone who just coming to Yelp to review you, they always remove those because they think it's fake or spam or something, or a family member. But yeah, man, we have like 60 not shown right now, 60 not recommended. And then they're showing 90. We've been stuck at like 92 or 93 for a while because they just keep removing them.
Yeah, they don't want you to cross 100. You'd get too much power.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you guys looked into, I'm trying to think of how mainly power washers, because I don't think window washing is as much of a thing here, but it's a lot of radio?
Oh, as far as
around here. How do they advertise around here?
Perfect Power Wash is like the one around here. They're plastered everywhere. It's really their trucks is what you always see. They have an extremely recognizable wrap, but they're a lot on TV, a lot on the news stations.
Yeah, radio is huge in the Midwest. I know a guy out there runs the big one in Minnesota. Minnesota's considered the Midwest, right?
I have no idea.
Something like that.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Okay. So he runs one in Minnesota. His biggest thing is radio. His number one lead source is radio.
Yeah. It's becoming that for us too. Radio broadcast is like taking over. That's sweet. So Yelp. Okay. All right. So you've got the marketing machine dialed in. You think you could gain a little bit more through Yelp, throw another truck or 2 on the road and cross a milli?
I know we can because we have an agency with Yelp too, helping other home service businesses grow in Yelp. And so we have access to, we can see like our competitors' ad spend. We can see inventory fulfillment. So for example, if I say I'm spending $5,000 on Yelp, I can see if that shows 99 to 100%. I know we're getting the maximum leads we can. I can realistically up the budget to 10K ad spend a month and get even more leads in if I wanted to. So it's cool. And I can also see search volume in the area. So I know like last month, there's 20,000 people searching for window cleaning within 20 miles of me just on Yelp.
I'm really into the $650 average ticket thing though. That's pretty dope. So what is a normal job that goes into that average ticket?
$650 sounds high.
You have a lot of big houses over here. We try to stay in a few high ticket areas like Newport Beach, Anaheim Hills, Laguna Beach, and they're just naturally like 4,000 plus square foot homes. So we're able to charge a higher price for window cleaning. Most of the time, it's just window cleaning. We'll get the one-off, maybe like 1 to 2 a week house wash plus window cleaning. You could definitely do a better job upselling, but it's just charging a high price per window.
When you sign up with Service Titan for your business, you want to make sure you get the most out of your subscription for Service Titan. We pay multiple 6 figures a year for our Service Titan subscription. And because of that, we train our people extensively to make sure that we're getting the absolute most out of that investment as possible. Now, if you can't afford that in-house, that's okay, because there are consultants out there that can help you get the most out of your Service Titan. So the one that we've partnered with recently is Home Service Engine, and they're awesome. So you can think of them as like an external outsourced CTO. They're there to help drive real performance out of your Service Titan subscription, so you can get the most out of what you're paying. So you can understand your performance, you can get your revenue dialed in, and you can become better operators by working with folks like Home Service Engine. So check them out, homeserviceengine.com. It's a great group.
Window cleaning, like residentially, is sweet. I realized it was earlier this summer. This is embarrassing that I'm admitting this to as many people that listen to this, but I had never thought of cleaning my windows like at all. And we've lived in this house for like 3 years or something. Embarrassing. So it was like, I know. Yeah, I know. It was like a month ago. I looked at the windows and I was like, oh my God, these things look insane. So yeah, I cleaned it. And after doing it once, I was like, yeah, never again. I'm going to hire a window cleaning company. So that's like a pretty easy value proposition. I don't want to do that. That was crazy.
How long did it take you?
Like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
No.
I have a very small home. I think my home's like 13 or 1,400 square feet. Tiny. So yeah, it was quick, but it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, dude. You think, right? Hey, just cleaning windows. How hard can it be? But there's a lot that goes into it.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's underrated.
Yeah, for sure. No, like
Just imagine a homeowner like hanging out the second story of a window trying to wash the outside of it.
I didn't even touch my second story windows. Like it was an hour and a half on the first floor. And after that, I was like, I'm good.
I'm not sure if you guys have seen like window cleaning equipment, but we don't get on any ladders 99% of the time to clean the second story. So we just have these big carbon fiber poles. They can go up to like 70. We have one that's a 70 footer.
Oh my.
So you can go up like 6 stories and clean windows without ever having to get out a lift or scale that building.
Holy smokes. And that's like a retractable pole, or how does it work?
Yeah. It's a carbon fiber pole. It's in different stats. So you have like 8 pieces to it. You just spin up one pole and then do it 8 times and you're up there 70 feet. It's carbon fiber. So obviously when it's extended out 70 feet, it's going to be a little heavy, but you just grip it on the window and you're good to go. It doesn't streak or anything.
That's hilarious. What's up next for you guys? You're about to graduate college. You're about to be out there ready to devote full focus.
So what's next? I've been having a lot of fun on Twitter. Actually, Twitter's very powerful from what I've learned. I've been able to connect with a ton of people like you guys, for example. Liam and Bryant. I don't know if you guys know Liam and Bryant. We just spun up a Discord for young entrepreneurs. So we have a little community there. It's free. The podcast, we spent like $2,000 putting the studio together. So it's really YouTube focused, like impulsive JRE style interviews with entrepreneurs. So we're really focused on the production and the video. It's called You Do What for a Living, but like you do what for a living? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's it. And then like I mentioned briefly, Orange window cleaning is really kind of running on its own. This is basically what I do. You guys can't see the camera, but I'm sitting here in our office. And that allowed us to focus a lot more on the agency business. So helping other companies grow on Yelp. That's been a lot of fun. Sergio has been the operator for Orange window cleaning. So I've stepped away and I'm focusing on the agency business now. Just focusing on home service businesses grow on Yelp.
Hold on. So this is to clarify. So you own the agency business that helps home services.
Yeah. So Sergio and I still own it. We own it together.
I didn't understand that when we talked about that 10 minutes ago. So that's actually your guys' business.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're using the agency
why you
business.
have so much data. Yeah, you were like diving
Exactly.
into some of this data, and I was like, dude, are you bribing to get that information? That was wild.
Yeah. So it's an unfair advantage in the market where we have all that data because we're an agency partner. So we just have Orange Window Cleaning as a client for Tuffy Agency. That's the name of the agency. And we're able to see all that data.
Yeah. Like if I wanted to go grow my home service company on Yelp, what would that cost?
We just charge $9.99 psychological pricing, $1,000. I don't know, it's a little scary. but you say $9.99, it sounds a little bit better. But we do the same thing. Like I explained, for orange window cleanings pricing, we have 3 different packages: gold, platinum, and diamond. And platinum is what we push, and that's where we have an autoresponder.
Is it $9.99 a month or $9.99?
$9.99 a month on top of whatever you spend on ads too. And the cool thing is we get a kickback on any ad spend too. So we get anywhere up to 25% depending on how much our clients are spending on Yelp.
That's cool.
But at $9.99, we're going to set up your profile, optimize it. But the real value there is autoresponder. So when you're looking for companies to pick on Yelp, you're going to see their response time. You want your response time always to be at 10 minutes because time kills on Yelp. So if you're even 3 minutes late to responding to a quote, that next guy's going to get it. If you can fire off a price or at least a, hey, thank you for reaching out within 60 seconds of someone messaging you, your odds of winning that job go way up. So we're one of 2 agencies that have that autoresponder. And so we could just implement that in your Yelp profile, and anyone that comes in, even after hours, is going to get a follow-up immediately when they when someone reaches out to your profile on Yelp.
That's pretty sweet. So how many clients do you guys have?
We have 4 right now. We just started it like a month ago. So it's still new, but I'm really excited about it.
So that's definitely what's up next for you guys. So, and you and Sergio are partners in that too?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I always love multiple businesses.
You don't say.
Yeah. It's the way to live. That is fun.
Yeah, it's a cool niche too, because it's like solving our own pain point, not solving our own pain point, but using our expertise that we learned through trial and error. And then I really feel like I'm handing out lottery tickets to these companies because we just know it like the back of our hands.
Are they all in similar industries or home service industries, or?
We have a list of 25 industries we target, all home services. So anywhere from plumbing, HVAC, pools, window cleaning, real estate agents is in there. We've got restorations, big. Yeah, I could keep going. Roofing.
Are you seeing those same keys to success that you guys use to work in those other industries as well?
Pretty much. There's little things you edit on, like the ad design from different industries, but it's mostly the same thing. It's time. It's response time.
That's always one that killed us. Every time we tried to attempt any platform like that was response time.
Yeah, especially for guys like you. You probably have admins answering phone calls, right? If you want your admin doing that, you're not going to hire someone just to respond to Yelp. At least I wouldn't think you would. Maybe you would. I don't know. I don't always correct. I don't know. But when you have the autoresponder, you just respond instantly, and you don't have to worry about your admin if they're on a call having to respond to Yelp while meanwhile trying to talk. It's not gonna work.
All right, you sold us. We'll be your test pilot for Ohio. We'll bring you over to the East Coast.
Hey, you guys want to spin something up in California? Let me know.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
I was thinking, I see the gears turning over there.
Actually, California, maybe not, but like an adjacent state, I'm down for. California might just have a few too many rules for me. I don't know if I'm a good fit for what they're trying to do.
Arizona Yelp works too. That's where the headquarters is at, actually. So there's another idea for you.
Yeah, Arizona I could do. It seems to be cool. Relatively easy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, California is a pain in the ass to deal with.
All right, so you've got the agency. You said Twitter was powerful, and then I totally interrupted you with understanding that you own the agency. So what else is up next for you guys?
Agency, Twitter, and yeah, that community with Liam and Bryant. Liam Kurchura. You had Liam on.
Yeah, he was cool.
And then I'm not sure if Bryant's been on. Or you guys planning to have him on? But
Bryant Solentrop?
Yeah,
we had him on. He was one of our first couple of guests.
Okay, yeah, those are my boys. And
you guys are like launch buddies, like young dudes dropping home service companies, cleaning stuff. Yeah, you guys are. Yeah,
we have a group chat on Twitter that's called like Young Cleaning Bros or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But yeah, we just launched a Discord community called Young Bootstrappers, and it's just people and anyone under 40 who wants to be with or talk with like-minded individuals. Come join. It's free, and you learn a ton.
Yeah, man, that's cool as hell. Twitter is pretty powerful. What else do you think you're going to do with it? Are you dropping a course?
No, I don't have any plans for a course yet, but I just feel there's something about making a course that just feels slimy about it.
It's tough.
I've always looked at gurus like, okay, if he's selling a course, he's probably not making money in his actual business. So I don't want to buy it. And so it's hard to get that frame of thought out if I'm making a course. But no, I mean, just keep pumping out threads and content in my story, because I think a lot of people can get inspired. You can make money doing anything in this country. And it's amazing. Like I clean I clean dirt off of windows.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, come on. If I can make a lot of money doing that, you make money doing anything.
Yeah, I'm ready to go buy a power washing company now.
You got to give me a call if you do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing I didn't even talk about. We acquired another business that was like 270K a year. Bought it for $1,000 down. So you can do some creative things with acquiring companies in this space.
You got to walk us through the deal now.
Okay, so there's this guy. So I'm in like a little networking group, like a BNI. Do you guys know what BNI is? So it's called Le Tip. One of the insurance agents in that group referred me to his Medicare client where he was like 65, retiring. Like your classic story. No one wants to buy his business. He's moving to Idaho. And we looked, he didn't have a profit and loss. He just had tax returns and his business bank statements. And that was it. Actually, his bank statements were his personal. He didn't have a bank account for his business. But he had these university relationships. And we really wanted those because there's some big jobs. And so we basically said, hey, look, we'll give you $1,000 in goodwill. Your pricing isn't market rate. So if we pay you a lump sum of cash like you're asking for, then we're not even going to convert probably 50% of your customers to ours just because your pricing isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that took a little bit of selling and negotiation, but finally we got through to him. He took the deal, $1,000, and then we give him a 20% kickback on any customer that converts to an orange window cleaning customer. And then that percentage drops to 10% in year 2. So let's say, I think we bought the business June 1 or May 1. I have to look back. So then June 1, 2022, that 15 or 20% kickback drops to 10% kickback. And then going into year 3, that'll drop to 5. And then after year 3, no kickback.
So is it a monthly kickback?
Yeah. So I just pay him monthly. I generate a report on House Call Pro because any customer that we clean of his has his company's name tagged on it. So we just generate a report, send him that report and say, hey, these are the jobs. And then we do an Excel spreadsheet attached to that, multiplying it out for him. And then we just send him a check.
That's awesome. So you've had it for 4 months, 3.5 months. How's it going?
Yeah, we just finished up. In July, we did 2 universities for like $60,000. So that was good.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it's going great. It's going great. Not so much on the residential, like I predicted. We've maybe done 4 or 5 residential customers in total, but those universities are what I really wanted, and it's worked out.
Is that like every window in a university?
It's usually the dorms. We can only clean them in the summer when the students are gone. And so for example, we clean like 13 dorm buildings. So we had the guys going in every dorm. You have to go check in at the front office, get the keys, unlock all the doors. And then they all have screens on them too. So it's not like a traditional commercial building. They've all got screens. That was a pain in the ass, but it wasn't bad.
Have you landed more of those schools since then?
So we're bidding on the school I go to right now because I was able to go in and say, hey, I'm a student.
We do these other ones.
And we do these other ones. And so they're like, oh, it's a no-brainer. Of course, you're a student and you do universities already.
Yeah, I feel like that's a value add.
Yeah, we're bidding on that next year. And that was what me and Sergio were thinking, like, this is a good avenue to basically, there's like 10 or 11 universities just in our area. So we can go to all of them and say, hey, we already do these.
I just think that sounds like a really sweet project. Do you think you could throw those into spring break or like Christmas break or things somewhere where you guys are already slowed down because that's your natural slow season, but throw a $60,000 project in there?
That'd be the dream. But you got students coming back in January and February. So there's really no time.
So it's not like a week
to
project.
put those in.
It's like a month.
Right. Yeah. So like one of them took us 6 weeks.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
I'm sitting here like
huge.
imagining like a week.
Unless we threw like 3-4 crews on that, then it would take us maybe like 2-3 weeks. But
I wonder if you could I don't know. I'm just like totally thinking, because if you pretty much stopped working and you had a 2-week gap, you could like full bore it.
Yeah, and just throw everyone on there. That's not a bad idea. But
one of the things that always limited our growth, still does, is nailing seasonality and what to do with staff. Because it's hard to grow. It's hard to grow 10 people if you lose 5 people every year. Because then you're constantly replacing the churn of technicians. So if you're able to nail your seasonality and you're able to do stuff in your downtime, so you keep all your staff and you only have to grow by 5 people, it's just like, that's like half the game for these home service companies. It's just figuring out how to retain during downtime. And
absolutely.
It only gets worse as you get bigger, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't imagine. It's already a pain in the ass right now. So someone can figure that out. That'd be great.
Where do you think you guys are going to take the window company?
We want to get it to over $1 million next year. We've doubled every year. So at the rate we're on, next year 5 should be our $1 million a year. That's the goal right now.
We'll be cheering you on from Ohio, like arm pumping a whole year. Like it's going to be exhausting.
I appreciate it, dude. That's awesome. I'll keep you guys posted, definitely.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's sweet.
I think we're going to hit it.
What do you think you could have done
like looking back, what could you have done to shorten the timeline to 2 years to hit $1 million?
Urgency. It's something that's starting to click in my head now as I get older, is stop putting off tomorrow what you can do today. Just pull the trigger already. We could have put our third truck out beginning of summer had we just bit the bullet and went straight to the dealership instead of trying to fuck around with bank financing. Just pull the trigger, do what you have to do. Because if you're going to put that money down, that truck is going to produce you an extra $20K. So we could have had an extra $60,000 of revenue for the summer had we just moved faster and had a little bit of urgency. So that's something we've been working on. It's just a sense of urgency. You can move a lot faster than you think.
Yeah. I wonder what we were thinking about this, or I was thinking about this. So I bought my first company in 2016 and it was already doing like about $1 million. And then obviously we buy companies. So like this isn't the same comparison. We're about to hit the 5th anniversary this year in like a week, 2 weeks. It was October 1st. And I was like, okay, so 5 years. And the first 4 years were basically spent building the platform. And the 5th year was spent exploding in growth. And then if I had to do it again, how could I do all that in 2? Because what does the next 20 million look like? Yeah, interesting exercise to flush it out. But you guys have just such a killer base on top, like the marketing dialed in, down to trucks, good CRM, good lead flow. Like I'm into this. This is for sure the platform.
Definitely. If I had to go back to do it in 2 years, knowing what we know now, it'd be a lot different because it took us, like same thing, like took us 4 years to figure out what works on the marketing and to get leads in constantly and to build our reputation. That takes time to build your reputation because the more years you're in business, the cool thing about home service is as long as you stay in business, you grow naturally if you can retain your customers. So we would definitely grow a hell of a lot faster knowing what we know now, just because we can throw our marketing engine on there and just explode.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We're starting the Serve Startup thing, which I don't think we've talked very much about on the pod.
What is that?
We're incubating, and we're doing it with a guy named Isaac. He's on Twitter. I should plug his Twitter, but he's cool. We're incubating home service entrepreneurs that want to start up, and we are like basically funding them and giving them the model to launch and get to success as quick as they can. So obviously that looks like a lot of different things. It really depends on the industry. And we're going to be targeting asset heavy companies to give us a little bit more of a moat and competitive edge because we don't want to be competing against the guys that could start a cleaning company for $500. We'd rather have to compete against guys who have to drop $200,000 to even walk in the door. But that's a lot of this now is like, okay, so how do we take an entrepreneur who just wants to start a home service company and get them to $1 million in 2 years in revenue or several $1 million in 2 years? So that's the thought experiment. What do you think?
That's exciting. That's really cool. I'd love to hear more about that. But I think as long as you have marketing down, that's the number one thing. I think about it like a stool, right? A 4-legged stool, like a bar stool. And each leg is growing. So you have to make sure each leg's growing and around the same length. Because if your marketing is all the way down here, but you haven't supplemented that with your hiring and you're buying your trucks, then you're going to fail. There's going to get too much work. You're wasting money on ads and you're leaving money on the table because you can't fulfill that work. So it's definitely an interesting thought experiment, a little more difficult the more you think about it. But I think marketing is the most important thing. And then we've always been to figure it out as you go. So we'll get the work and then we'll figure out how to fulfill it type of thing. And obviously at scale, that's probably not what you want to do. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think scrappiness gets you pretty close to scale. And then it becomes way more about like org building and then creating a machine that is more of like placing components.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey,
that's another thing too. I think performance-based pay is huge. So if you can figure out a good system off the rip, just so, employees are like, wow, this is awesome. And then you can get those referrals in. Employee referrals are the best. And, pay those employees when they do refer someone that stays for a certain amount of time.
What does your current comp system look like?
When we were W-2, it was commission-based. So basically, lead techs would get up to 16% 16% on a 2-man truck, whereas the regular tech would get 12, 13. So we were trying to keep it below 30% labor. And then if you're a 1-man lead tech, you max out at 25%. Sometimes if we had a lead tech that was crushing it, we would bend that and give them 26, 27. But your normal tech would probably get around 20%.
Mm-hmm. Is that the same with subcontractors?
Subcontractors are a little different. We don't do commission because we're essentially a broker. We have to be labeled as a broker so we don't get in trouble, California. But we just pay them 60% of the job. But the good thing is we charge really high prices. So they're cool with that. And we're essentially their Yelp or their marketing. They don't have to pay for the customer acquisition or anything like that. We do the booking, we do the pricing. We're spending our money maintaining that customer relationship, and they're just servicing the customer.
You've become almost more of a lead gen completely.
Basically, yes and no. We still keep the customer service there. Customer service is still our big thing. We think you can have subs and still have great customer service. Well, we don't think we're proving it right now. But like I said, our reviews are still going up, still getting 5 stars. And a big thing is honestly who answers the phone. As long as you sound bubbly and you answer the phone with a smile, those people are going to be happy. And then vetting the subs, right? So I'm not going to meet with the sub if he's used your bullshit detector a little bit or like your judgment of character. And you can tell if you want to send that guy out to jobs or not. The good thing about Orange County is people have been getting their windows cleaned for 30, 40 years. So like we're able to get lists from our window cleaning suppliers of all their window cleaners because we told them, hey, we're subbing work. So they give us a list and we've got hundreds of window cleaning companies we can use because there's so much demand here.
So then I'm just going to go backwards here. You said your biggest problem was vehicles. That no longer becomes a problem if you're subbing.
Right, exactly. So that's why we made the switch. So I know we skipped all over the place here, but we switched from W-2s to subs last month. So our last W-2 month was last month. And so that whole time of August, we were doing hybrid where we would have a few trucks W-2, a few truck subs. We saw no difference. Jobs are still getting done, but we were just making more money on the subs.
You're making more money?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're making more money because we don't have to pay workers' comp anymore. So workers' comp for window cleaning, we're paying like almost 23%. So workers' comp is killing us every month for W-2s. And then think about it as an insurance agent, you hear, oh, you're a window cleaner. Oh my God, I'm going to make so much money off you because you're getting on ladders and you're cleaning 3, 4, 5-story buildings when that's not the case. You're using a water-fed pole 99% of the time.
That's pretty wild. Okay, so 60%. So maybe 30% was out of your SG&A and 30% COGS.
So it's actually a range of 50 to 60. So we have a thing where the more jobs you complete successfully with us, we'll raise your rates. So you start at 50. After a certain amount of jobs you complete, you can go to 55 and then you cap out at 60. We'll never pay more than 60%.
I'm into that. Are you able to keep your overhead to 10% or 20% so you guys can still do 20% net or 30% net?
Yeah. Keep in mind when you switch to subs, you don't have to worry about truck maintenance, buying equipment, workers' comp, payroll taxes. You pay your sub and that's it. And then we have overhead we have our ad spend. Not a big deal. We have our ad spend probably 5%. And then we have our software, CRM, and then Nice Job, Responsibid. And then you've got our VAs and our admin.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. I think there's guys that do sub inside, like the trades we play in, but they're way too specialized. You end up getting beat up.
I don't think subs would work in something like that. I don't think you can build a long-term business off of subs in plumbing or HVAC. I just don't think that would work.
I know guys who do it. Furcon's one, but I know guys just around here that do subs in carpeting, like flooring. And that's a very real way to scale those up. That's a pretty cool setup.
Janitorial's been subbing things for years and there's billion-dollar companies off subbing. I know a guy who lives in Vegas and operates 2 junk hauling companies in San Diego and LA. And he's got tons of trucks moving. I talked to him and he's who helped us work through a lot of this. And he told me, he's like, yeah, I haven't been on a truck in 6 years. And he just subs everything from Las Vegas. Multiple companies, junk removal.
Yeah, junk removal is an industry. I'd do that.
Yeah, lots of interesting ones. Cleaning, of course, is huge. You guys at Liam on, he does that.
Yeah.
Try to think where else you can get away with it. I know guys doing it with pavers too. Guys are killing it with pavers, like driveways.
Yeah.
There's a guy doing that who's got like 6 crews.
I always wonder what that looks like at like $10, $20 million in sales. How does it change? Is it maintainable? Or do you need so many subs at that point that it's really hard to maintain quality? Because it feels like the smaller, the better. You can like tightly control that.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out, right, as we grow. But I've seen there's a paver company doing, I want to say they're doing 8 figures and they just have sales teams. That's all their employees. It's just inside sales. And they've got like 10 sales reps just selling paver jobs.
That's dope. God, I always do these and then I'm like, we need to go do this.
I love that feeling though. It's a double-edged sword though, because I think every entrepreneur deals with that, chasing the shiny object syndrome. And it's tough to deal with for sure.
Yeah. I can talk myself down now just because I'm so busy. But if there's more time, like next year, I'm suspecting that there's going to be a lull in between deals. That's never good. It means John's going to go start something.
Brace.
Yeah. Everybody brace yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's funny. I think we've pretty much hit our time here. This has been freaking awesome. I'm pumped to listen back through this. This is going to be really cool. If people want to follow you, where can they find you?
So number one place to follow me is Twitter. Like I mentioned, at SqueegeeGod. That's my handle.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Branded myself really good there. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah. Yes.
SqueegeeGod on Twitter.
That is pretty direct. That's awesome. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing your story. This was really cool.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for having me, man. It was fun.
And your podcast.
Yeah. You do what for a living?
Awesome. Yeah. I'm going to check that out. Sweet.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, Johnny.
If you guys are ever in California, I'll have you jump on.
Yeah. There you
For
go.
sure. All right, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Owned and Operated, the podcast for home service entrepreneurs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit the like button and subscribe to the podcast. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, feel free to reach out. You can find me on Twitter at @WilsonCompanies. I'll see you next time.